to our player ratings, and let's start off with Vicario. 5s all round for Big Vic. And yeah, in terms of Big Vic, his kicking was just absolutely horrific in this game. So much panic and so no calm at all with Victor, Vicario in this game. And, you know, he just kept just aimlessly punting it up the field. Obviously, a goal came from his kicking as well. He did make some decent saves in the second half, but yeah, he was just so erratic, wasn't he?
Yeah, especially the kicking. Look, for me, obviously he made a good double save from Broja, but I think the first goal comes from his panic. And that's just the thing with Vicario. He doesn't calm. He doesn't exude calmness, does he? Every time he's got the ball at his feet, he seems worried. He's passing a lot of the time. You're just worried, is it going to be accurate? Is it going to be not? The players don't seem calm when he's on the ball. He's got no composure. And that obviously it leads to situations like yesterday. I didn't think overall he had a terrible game. Didn't think he could do much with the first goal. Second goal, he does his best. He makes a save and comes back out, and he gets a touch on the second one, but unfortunately ends up back in the net. But I think the first goal just comes from he just needs to be calm in those situations. And if you're not, just boot it long. Don't play a stupid ball short and put us under more pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. Fans are giving him 4.5, so a bit less than what we've gone for. So Pedro Porro up next. Sim gives him a 6. I gave him a 5. Pre-planned subs, Thomas Frank said, lasted 45 minutes. And yeah, it was nowhere near as strong as his performance in midweek against Dortmund. I felt like in possession he was struggling quite a bit, actually, and a number of misplaced passes that crept back into his game that we've seen a lot this season. I think where he was most dangerous was from the free kicks. He had 2 really decent free kicks. One hit the side netting and one, I think, forced the save out the keeper.
And corners as well.
Yeah, corners were decent as well. So his set pieces were good, but I think that's kind of all we saw yesterday.
Yeah, he got taken up at half time. Hopefully, it's not an injury. Frank said it was something physical, whatever that means.
It's something that we've all been calling for Porro to get some rest, because he's been playing game after game for year after year.
I'm not complaining if it's that or not. I just wonder what it is. Is it an injury? Has he picked something up? Or was it a pre-planned sub to take He said it was something physical, which hopefully implies it was a break. But then why not just give him the whole game? I don't understand why play him a half. Doesn't make sense to me if that was part of the plan. But obviously, as you say, I think set pieces were good. He was part of the reason why we were 1-0 up, or when we were. I didn't have too many problems with him. I just didn't think in open play he was particularly great.
Mickey van der Ven, 6 from Sim, 7 from me. Obviously scored the goal. Unbelievable finish. For the goal that we did concede, the first one, he got turned inside out, man. Really did. Very worrying sign there for Mickey. But he did make a number of kind of last-ditch challenges, which looked certain goals at times. So, kind of good and bad from Mickey. But, yeah, I marked him up 1 for the goal.
Yeah, I think maybe 6 was a bit harsh. I did think he was pretty good, but I think maybe that spin really annoyed me that he struggled to defend that moment from Jadon Anthony. I also think he didn't support Spence / Doggy as much as maybe a Doggy was supporting Spence on Wednesday night. He didn't really pick too many moments to fly forward. He did it on occasion, but would like to maybe have seen a bit more, maybe make us a bit more threatening. But yeah, fine finish for the goal. Really, you can see he used to be a striker back in the day, because that was a striker's finish, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just so hard to see Mickey at the end of each and every game looking so dejected, because we're so used to seeing that big smile on his face, and it's becoming a rare occurrence now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Next up is Couty Romero. 7s all round for Couty. I thought by and large he had a pretty strong game. So strong in the duels. I think he won 100% of his ground duels yesterday. So that was very strong. Needs to be doing a lot better for the second goal. He needs to bust the gut to get back in the box and to save that situation. He didn't do that, which was pretty poor. But he comes away. The story of the game, he's the hero. 3 goals in 3 games for Couty Romero. Saved us from a loss with a bullet diving header. I thought for the most part he had a good game. It was just that goal he needs to be doing more for.
Is he on his way to breaking Vardy's record? That's the question. 3 in a row. Romero. I have to say, I was watching it back, and the second goal, he was a disgrace. There's no two ways about it. Shocking defending, not running back and getting in position when he missed the ball. There's not real excuse for it, but he was so good apart from that. It's hard to really mark him too harshly down in it, but he was so bad for that goal. But then I also thought for the goal we scored, he was brilliant. It's such a brilliant header. The way he guided it on target, the fact he had to dive for it as well. You won't see too many better headers this season than that one. I thought it was fantastic, the way he scored. And obviously, Roy of the Rovers kind of stuff dragging us to a point. But I thought defending at times was good. Obviously, the last shit stuff was good. But as well, I thought he had his hand to play in the first goal. The fact he miscontrolled that ball from Vicario, although it wasn't a good ball in the first place. And the second goal, he was a disgrace. So the best and worst of him, I would say.
Yeah, 7.2. The fans have given him, so they're quite happy with his performance. Next up is Kevin Danso. 5s all round for Kevin. And after such a strong performance against Dortmund, I thought, he was fairly poor in this game. Looked nervy on the ball. His playing out the back was just poor and erratic at times. And defensively, he did win quite a few headers at the back, but I thought, they tested every time. It looked like they kind of targeted him when going forward, and it wasn't great.
Yeah. Don't blame him too much for the second goal, even though he's got one man and he's got 3 Burnley attackers next to him. There's only so much he can do, but I also think his passing was woeful. The amount of times he played the ball out of play with an unforced error was a bit of a joke, to be honest. And it's funny, his playing at the back was something that stands out, but also when you actually look at the stats, he played our most progressive passes yesterday. So maybe maybe there's something to say about that. But I thought in general, he wasn't woeful, but he was very, very sloppy and he wasn't at his best. And I don't think he should have started. I just think, why start 3 centre-backs?
Yeah, he won 7 out of his 8 aerial duels yesterday.
There you go.
So a very strong showing in the air, as it always is. With, Daigle dubbed him Magnet Head, and he always is Magnet Head. But 5.5 from you lot. So you rated him a tiny bit higher than we did. Yves Bissouma, first start of the season, we've given him a 6. I thought first half, he was doing really well, winning the ball back in the middle of the park, being a busybody, trying to drive forward. And I thought he was the best, one of Spurs' better players in the first half. Second half, I thought he tired out the game. And maybe it's a culmination of not much football this season, and that maybe showed in the second half, and he got taken off. But I like his performance in the first half, and I think we need to keep building him and get that match fitness back, because he could be important for us second half of the season.
Yeah, I thought first half was one of our better players on the pitch, and I thought he was really bossing things, like winning the ball brilliantly, and not just that, but keeping it and playing the ball forward and finding Spence in good positions. There was so much to like about his first half performance, but in the second half he did definitely peter out, and Burnley were getting more and more counter-attacks around then. He was struggling to kind of keep pace. Maybe it's due to the amount of football he's played this season, but rightfully taken off, I would say.
Yeah. So you've given him a 6.2, so not too dissimilar to our score. Conor Gallagher up next. Sim gives him a 4. I gave him a 5. I mean, I'm just looking at Gallagher's performances, and I don't think he does too much wrong, but he's just not doing too much right, if you know what I mean.
Plays it safe a lot.
Yeah, he's not putting in great performances, but he's not having stinkers. He's not trying much. That's the problem, and he's running around a lot. He's putting himself about and winning fouls and putting himself into challenges, but that's about as much as it gets from him. There's no kind of penetration through the midfield. There's no kind of driving runs. It's just sideways passing and challenges. That's pretty much all it is.
Yeah, I think he looked a bit lost, to be honest. Wasn't too impressed. Should have scored as well when the ball fell to him from a corner and Dubravka made a good save. But he struggled. I think he struggled to really impact the game positively. I think he was way too safe on the ball, wasn't progressing the ball, and I don't think we saw him in the final third way enough, to be honest. So, yeah, I wasn't too impressed with him.
You guys have given him a 5.3 as well, so not too dissimilar to ours. Next up is Xavi Simons. 5s all round for Xavi, and I thought it was hot and cold from Xavi Simons. I thought a lot of time, particularly in the first half, he got on the ball, men crowded around him, and he was getting clattered a lot. A lot of times he was getting on the ball and just misplaced passes, either undercooked or overhit, which was really frustrating. There are a few signs of quality as well on the day, and he should have scored when he rifled it across the when it hit the bar. I mean, I'm surprised that didn't break the bar with the amount of power it had on that. So I still think, he's our most creative outlet and he needs to play. But yeah, I thought it was a bit up and down in this game.
Yeah, very sloppy a lot of the time. I think him and Spence on that left-hand side, especially in the first half, just constantly getting the pass wrong when we could have been in and finding moments to get in on goal. So that was really frustrating. But he is a player that tries things, and as much as he's wasteful, he also does create. And he created a chance for Odobert in the first half, which he could have done better with. He then created a chance for Solanke, when he should have scored, and that was a brilliant ball into the box. And obviously he hit the bar, so he was also involved in some of our best moments in the game. He did, when we won those 2 free kicks, I'm pretty sure he won both of them as well in that first half, and Porro ended up nearly scoring from both of them. So I think there was some good stuff, but the sloppiness was just too much. He needs to cut out that, because it's just needless when he could capable of so much better. If he can just refine his game, it's just a top player ready and waiting in there.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys giving him a 6.3, so a bit higher actually than what we've given him today. Wilson Odobert, Sim gives him an 8. I gave him a 7. Definitely Spurs' driving force in this game. Obviously got a great assist, great cross for Couty Romero, but it wasn't just that. He had consistent shots in the game, 3 shots on target, countless amount of dribbles as well. He seemed to just be able to take it past players at ease. He looks more comfortable, in my opinion, on the right-hand side than he does on the left, or maybe more effective on the right-hand side than he does on the left. And he had that shot from 25 yards, which was a really good effort that the keeper saved. And yeah, he was just a nuisance for Burnley, and he was most definitely our biggest threat.
Yeah, I thought he was our best player on the day. I thought he was a constant threat down the right-hand side. I thought it took him a little while to get in the game, and then once he did, I thought
that shot was the catalyst, wasn't it?
Yeah, the catalyst for Tottenham and for him, and I think brilliant effort, by the way. I think Dubravka does brilliantly to tip that round the post, and that was obviously a big moment for him, and that was on his left foot as well from 25 yards, so shows good shot technique he has in him. And then had another brilliant shot which Dubravka saved from the corner, which was on the volley, not easy to control, and he was very unlucky not to score. He then set up a chance for Xavi in the second half. He then set up the equaliser for Couty Romero, and I thought there was a number of times as well he's just using his pace to beat players and like they weren't even there, get past them and cause openings. And I thought he was really sharp, and I thought he had a really good game.
You guys have given him a 7 on the dot. So yeah, exactly the same as mine, just a bit below Sims. Spence started on the left, ended on the right, so 6 is all round for Spence. And he was really dangerous in the first opening minute, where he had a opening where he cut it back, which was a really big opening for Spurs and probably should have scored. And just a few seconds after that, he has a shot on target as well. But then from then on, I just felt he was really frustrating in the first half, where just the move just kept breaking down, really poor passes, sloppy moments of play. And I was saying to you on the watch along, I want to see him move over to the right, and Frank did do that in the second half, and I thought he looked a lot more comfortable when he moved over to the right, and he looked more dangerous and more threatening at times. And yeah, he ended the game on the right, and I think that's where, if we're going to play a wing-back system, I think he needs to be on the right-hand side.
Yeah, agreed. And I think he was much better in the second half. I think first half he was like a 4, second half he was like a 7. So I split the difference, gave him a 6. But I think second half, I think he had really good relationship with Odobert as well in that second half when he was at right back, and I think he was overlapping or underlapping at crucial times, and on his strong foot looked a lot better. I also think, was it his cross that led to Tell's chance, I think, which he nearly scored from, so that was a good ball. First half, he was hugely frustrating, and it frustrated me because you could see it coming. I know he had a good game against Burnley, but surely you have to realise that wasn't going to be the same. Sorry, against Dortmund, he had a good game on the left-hand side, but surely you have to realise that wasn't going to be the case against a Burnley team who are going to play a lot differently to Dortmund. And so it told, I thought, so many attacking moves broke down with him, with just lack of a way to pass, a lack of real kind of drive to go for goal or create a chance. He did really struggle, didn't want to get to the byline, kept having to cut inside, slowed us down on multiple occasions. So I want to see him play more on the right, and hopefully, if we do get Robertson, that'll happen, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. You guys are giving us 6.1. Dominic Solanke, 6 all round for the big Dom. Yeah, it was a mixed day for Dominic as well. I felt like his hold-up play was decent. When he's backing into a player, he's really showing that physicality and able to hand himself even with 6 months out. So that's a positive. I still think on the ball, he's looking really rusty. And that chance fell to him, point blank, header. He should be gobbling those up. He hits it straight at the keeper. Either side of the keeper, that's a goal. That should be a goal. 7 days of the week. Unfortunately, it wasn't. And he lasted 90 minutes on the back of Frank saying that he's still going to need to manage his minutes and not going to be able to play over 70 minutes. But obviously, I think Frank probably thought needs must at this point and didn't want to trust Muani, and he stayed on the pitch for 90 minutes. But yeah, I like some elements of his play, but he just needs to get that match sharpness back.
Agreed. I thought some of his hold-up play was phenomenal at times. And Burnley really struggled to kind of get the ball off him when we went long to him, and he was really making it stick, bringing other players into play. I actually think, especially in the first half, he was a big element as to why we were able to be so dominant and kind of camp them in, because every time we went long to him, as long as the ball was accurate, he was making it stick, and that was really positive. But when it came to, as you say, in front of goal, and then as the game went on as well, he started to, you could see physically, wasn't quite at the same level. He started to struggle a bit more. And obviously that chance was big, the one he missed. That was a big moment in the game. If we take the lead at that point, it could be a different story. So couldn't give more than a 6, but I think encouraging at least.
You've given him a 6.1, so very similar to us as well. Destiny Udogi, who came on at halftime for Pedro Porro, 6 from Sim, 5 from me. I thought it was a bit underwhelming, his performance, to be honest. I think the majority of our attacking play in the second half did come down the right-hand side. I just felt like he was probably brought on to give us a bit more energy in that second half, and it just didn't really happen. I don't really remember too much that he did.
Yeah, I think he kind of struggled to impact the game, whereas Spence was basically playing as a de facto left winger in that first half, whereas Udogi seemed to be given the role of wing back rather than winger, because he wasn't getting as far forward, wasn't creating as many chances. I actually felt we made some changes and then he started to impact the game a lot more a bit later on, but I thought for the first 25 minutes or so, he did struggle to impact the game positively.
You guys have given him a 6.1, so yeah, closer to Sim's rating than mine. Archie Gray, Sim gives him a 6, I gave him a 5. Again, comes on with 10 minutes to go. Probably coincides with our best moment in the second half, but I don't think he did too much. I mean, he kept the ball ticking along, maybe a few nice passes in the middle of the park, but apart from that, I thought he was pretty anonymous.
Yeah, I don't think he impacted the game massively. Just at that point in the game, Burnley are sitting back. It's all about, can Tottenham just break him down and create moments? I don't remember Gray being too much a part of it, apart from just allowing us to keep dominant and keep on top of them.
Yeah. You guys giving him a 5.5. Matisse Tell, 6 all round for Matisse. Out of all the subs, he looked the most busy, and he had that shot which maybe he should have put the ball in the back of the net, and that's all I call it. I mean, I don't think he showed too many signs of quality, but he just looked busy.
Yeah, and he nearly scored, and that was obviously a crucial moment, and that was a good effort, and Dubravka had to be at his very best to stop it. I also thought he was involved in the goal with a really nice slick pass into Spence, who then laid off to Odobert, who obviously crossed it in for Romero, but he was part of that move. And I thought he was getting involved, he was looking bright, wasn't losing the ball, he was making sure whenever he got it, he was getting it to a teammate and allowing us to keep the pressure on. I thought it was a decent cameo. I wouldn't say he set the world light, but again, I think he came on and impacted the game. Yeah. And with 12 minutes, considering everything that's happened, I think fair play to him, but I don't understand why he's not starting at the moment, especially in this game. It was just tailor-made for him to start. He didn't start in midweek. We need a left winger on the pitch. He's sitting there ready and waiting. Why not give him a go? And I think he could have done something if he started.
It's madness, isn't it? It's absolutely madness, which we'll get into now. Thomas Frank, Sim gives him a 3. I gave him a 4. He obviously did the same system against Dortmund. He thinks it's going to work against Burnley when they're not going to give us any space. So I think that was obviously a mark against him. Another mark against him is how long he takes to make his bloody decision. We're struggling in the game. Burnley are growing in confidence. We wait until Burnley get that second goal and take the lead. It's just madness to me. Like, why? It just makes no sense. Why is he always waiting to go down to make changes? Like, he's not a proactive manager, which is not what you would have thought of Thomas Frank before coming to Tottenham Hotspur. The Matisse Tell situation is mind-boggling as well. Like, before the Dortmund game, Matisse Tell was probably our strongest player in the forward line on a consistent basis in the last 3-4 games. He's waited until the last 10 minutes until we're 2-1 down. He's basically spat in his face, taking him out the Champions League squad, not started him in the next week after he's saying he would have started in Dortmund if he didn't take him out the Champions League squad. And then he's like, all right, go save my job for me. That's pretty much what he's doing. And I think it's ridiculous, the treatment of Matisse Tell. He should have started. We should have gone with 4 at the back, and he should have played Odobert and Tell as the wingers. That's what should have happened. And he didn't do that. I just think his game management, week in, week out, is so poor. It's just, I just don't get it. Having said that, I thought we were the better team on the day, and we created better chances and probably should have won the game. But the way he manages each and every game is just poor, and me saying that we were a better team doesn't say much about our performances, probably says more about Burnley's.
Yeah, I think for me, when it comes to how we played, were a better team, or should we have won? Yes. Did we deserve to win? No. I think game state, when it comes to these chances created, you have to be taken into account, and the fact of the matter is we created a few chances before going 1-0 up, and then didn't create any chances pretty much until falling 2-1 behind, and then create a flurry to try and get back in the game. For me, how many chances did we create when we were winning to kill the game off? None. And then we never got that chance because our defending was atrocious. Why is our defending so sloppy? Why is it all over the place? He keeps saying how much we've improved, kind of defensively this season. Yeah, we conceding goals like we did against Burnley. If you swap those teams in terms of and watch and said Burnley were the ones defending, you probably wouldn't be surprised, because we literally did defend like a relegation team for those goals that we conceded. It was absolutely horrendous. I agree with you that some of the decisions were also very, very questionable, his treatment of Tell, but also just in general for, as much as we created chances, for about 70 minutes of that game, we were still pretty dross, and it was still pretty hard to watch. But we did have a flurry of chances, one right at the end of the game and one after half an hour. And on the basis, people are looking at those moments saying, we created and deserved to win. I would say we should have won, but we didn't deserve to win, and we got all we deserved with how we played, in my opinion. And I think Frank has a lot to answer for. We've now not won against West Ham and Burnley, 2 crucial games. We have not beaten. We've gone 4 games without a win against the bottom 4, needing 2 last-minute draws to even get a point in those games. And Frank, Frank has also said. He said, but in the last game against West Ham, last 6-7 games, we've been creating more chances and getting better. But that's also coincided with a very generous run, has it not? Like, that is it no coincidence we create more chances when we play worse teams? Like, obviously we will. It's also about winning those games and getting points. But also we haven't been playing exactly well in those games, but we have been creating more chances. Okay, so is it an achievement to create more chances when we're playing the worst teams? No, that's going to happen. That's natural. You're playing worse teams, you're going to create more chances. Yeah. So
we obviously played Dortmund in that run as well.
Yeah, but he said that before the Dortmund game. So, like, I don't understand the logic of him pointing that out. That it's been a bit more consistent when we've played basically all the worst teams. Fine, but that doesn't really mean much. So yeah, I'm sick of him. I'm sick of the football. Same as I said last week, but it looks like he's staying. So whoop-de-doo.
Yeah. All right. So that is our player ratings for the 2-2 draw with Burnley, and still after saying all that, it's still absolutely terrible, man. And I just can't deal with it anymore. Seriously. The games come. The game on paper seems easier and easier every week, and still we can't get a positive result. It's just absolute madness.